we go again.
Hey, Skitty, my brother from another mother. What
What's
up,
up,
though?
bro? What up, man?
Man, I am trying to get this week really get it in gear though, man. It's been kind of crazy because I don't know. It started out slow, and I think it was a good thing, but I think that I've been so used to this faster pace though that the slow just seems to be where it's like I'm like it's lethargic kind of slow though, man. So I'm trying to pick it on up though, man, and have some things crossed off the list. What with you though?
Man, had a show this weekend which was super fire. Um, and then we had storms last night, so I'm exhausted at the same time. So it's a weird thing because it's like I'm still on a high from the show, but at the same time, we had these storms going on out here, and it's like winter weather out there, bro. It's 50, but that wind chill make it feel like it's 40 out there.
You know what's crazy is that I think that we actually had some pretty cool weather out here. And what's wild about it is I think sometime because of the big changes, I think I may have been sick, but didn't quite know that I was sick. I think I have a pretty good immune system. I'm usually only up and up. I don't get sick for very often or for very long. And I think I may have been kind of sick and just didn't know it. But yeah, we have the same. I've been trying to get out and wash the truck. I've only washed my truck one time since like Christmas or something like that. So I went ahead and watched it, but I was like, oh, let me get ahead of it and watch it again and make sure it ain't too bad. And man, it's just been I didn't get a chance to. And I'm like, I'm not trying to get out there when it's windy at all. And it's been very much steady over the last little while. It's like it's floating around like 65, but it's been like a cool kind of 65 though. Yeah.
It's interesting you bring up washing cars because on the way back, I was coming back from somewhere in Edmond this weekend, and I must have ran over a skunk. Bro, I ain't been able to get that smell off my car yet. I done washed my car already and everything, bro. It's crazy.
And that's on the outside.
On the outside. Yeah.
I think that there's something about like to get the skunk smell off of you, you got to use like tomato juice or tomato sauce. I don't know how you're gonna tomato sauce your car up though.
Tomato juice, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm gonna just keep
Let's get the
washing.
music going in, bro.
All right.
Let's do it.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Brotherz podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. Brotherz podcast, the greatest podcast.
If you smell what the rock. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Time.
Yep.
Hey, listen, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the Slash Brothers YouTube and Facebook pages. We are live on both platforms at the same time. You click on the bell, you click on the notifications, you get the heads up whenever your boys are doing their thing. It's Kennedy. And we got to talk about this one first, though, man.
What's up?
This Dallas Luka trade is looking bad, fast, bro. It's amazing how quickly I was telling you that not the biggest Luka fan, and I thought that the Mavs won the trade, right? I thought that I was telling you that I thought that the Mavs recognized what I thought was that I didn't think that they would win the championship with Luka, man. I didn't, right? And whatever their reasons are, they went ahead and traded them for AD. And I thought, well, in the short term at least, they would be the more competitive team. You got AD, you got Kyrie, you got the boy. Now AD doesn't have to play center like he never wanted to do. It just made sense to me that the Mavs would be right there contenders, considering that they've been playing decently without, Luka with them being hurt and everything.
I noticed who you didn't.
Then AD goes down. Who that?
You ain't bring up Klay Thompson.
Well, listen. So this is that okay. So this is the I'm gonna tell you how I'm gonna segue into that though, right? So I think speaking of Clay, right? I think that the kind of injuries that Clay had, I think it's a 2 year injury. Like I know that you can come back, right? But to be kind of what you were before, I think that that's like a 2 year process. And I learned that from when Chris Paul had his one. I think he wound up tearing his ACL or something like that, though, bro. And Chris Paul came back, and yeah, he could be effective, but he wasn't the same Chris Paul that took it until the following full next season. Anywho, though, with that being said, AD goes down. It looked like he just his abs just wasn't abbing, basically. And then we think like, okay, well, Kyrie's gonna hold it down until they get back, and now Kyrie's down though, bro. Torn ACL out for the season. It's just looking like
Out
it's
for a
just
year.
worse. Yeah, it's done. He's out for a year. And again, I think that these days you can have players come back and 5 months is the new, right? But I think for him to be what we know, Kyrie to be a full calendar year to me, and I think that it's going to take about that. And the tricky part about it is that you know you still an injured older guy. So while you come back, you know what I'm saying? It's like your window, the window that I thought that the Mavs had by making the trade was a small window, and now it just got that much smaller.
Some people believe that they think Kyrie has played his last game in a Mavericks uniform.
Didn't he sign a longer contract?
No, he has an opt-in clause for this coming off season, and so he can opt in and take the 43, or he can opt out or whatever like that. But uh yeah, that's what
What
they
do
were
you think
talking about.
Kyrie's gonna do?
I mean, I think now that he's injured, he would probably opt in, but I don't know what that's going to look like as far as paying him because he's injured and like you said he's older. Now, that being said, another team would pay him because he's still Kyrie Irving. Um so I don't know what he's going to do. I think obviously for right now he's only going to be thinking about his health. He ain't going to be worried about cuz the contract thing will take care of itself. So I don't even think that's on his mind. I just think getting back healthy, getting back on the floor is more where his brain is going to be at the moment.
Let me ask you this though: a year out, right? So we're talking about a year removed. So not this coming season. So thinking about projecting 2 NBA seasons, right? Who else do you think if Kyrie opt out because you see him actually playing with?
Miami.
I mean, ooh,
But
Miami works.
well, the thing is that you got to look at a team that needs to upgrade the point guard position, right? So, um, I was gonna say the Lakers, but they don't necessarily need him. I don't know what Indiana looks like. I don't know who their point guard is. I could always see him going to Houston. Um, I mean, there's options, bro. Like there when you really boil it down, Kyrie's still better than a lot of point guards out there. So if you feel like you're a player away, a star away, even still him coming off an injury, I still think he's gonna be a better option than a lot of point guards. So I would say shoot so Connolly doesn't he's getting up there. That could be an option. But the
That's what
thing
I thought immediately. It's Minnesota.
Well, the other thing is this though. This was the thing. Dallas was slated to possibly get KD in the offseason. So it's like it's a lot of things that's riding on what Kyrie does.
Let me ask you this though, man. I think that it's funny you mentioned KD because I think that KD always seems to be the a lightning rod for debate, right? Because of everything. even then, like if you're Dallas and you bring Kyrie back, you can always fit KD on a team, right? It's like he'll be your number one player, but not your leader necessarily. So my question would be that yeah, it makes sense. So if you bring KD and AD, it's to me, it's always like AD's never made that big step up to be the guy, right? It was like I thought even though he was with the Lakers, it was still LeBron as 1A and then him, but it seemed like that was almost by choice. So then it's like if you bring KD, it's always good to have a KD, right? He's that efficient and everything like that. But it's like who leads them then at that point? Like I think that it's not about who's going to be the best player. I think that clearly you put AD, KD, and Kyrie all out there. You got a contending team, though, right? But it's like, does that combination really? I mean, it works for something like the Olympics, right? When everybody's conceding their game. But do you think that for a full series that would work?
Yes, because for one, the problem that Brooklyn had is they didn't have a leader even in the head coach. But you're talking about Dallas. You're talking about Jason Kidd, former player, former point guard. He is a leader and he knows how to motivate people. He's almost like, Ty Lue in a sense, right? Um, and so the thing is that who's leading the team right now? When I'm saying if Kyrie was healthy, if AD was healthy, who would be the leader in Dallas?
Kyrie to me is the lead. To me, Kyrie is the leader of the team, especially with no Luka.
Okay, so that would still be the answer to me. If they got KD and Kyrie, Kyrie would still be the leader.
Here's my point, and so I'm glad you said that because here's my point. It hasn't panned out so well with Kyrie being the leader of any team so far.
He's different in Dallas. He's older in Dallas, right? The
Mm.
thing is when he was in Brooklyn, the stuff that was following him in Brooklyn was the whole, anti-Semitic stuff, the shot stuff for COVID. And then prior to that was Boston. Boston, he had the issue because the young guys didn't want to fight. He wanted the young guys to respect him and whatever. Cleveland, he had the LeBron stuff. Like there's always been a thing. In Dallas, he's been quiet, right? And again, he's at a place that has a leader already built in with the coach, who was also again a former player and somebody that played your position. So the thing is that if Kyrie was set up to be the leader when Luka left, he's still going to be set up to be the leader, even if they bring KD.
Mm. Mm. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that take. I'm just kind of curious though, man. Like, yeah. I always wonder, when it's been an attempt of linking two players up and it don't work. At what point do you just say, I don't even want to go? Here's another point though, right? So also out for the season, Joel Embiid.
Mhm.
So Ace Kennedy, my question for you is this: the process has been built around Joel Embiid,
Mhm.
right? Is it time for Philly to abandon the process?
That is a multi-layered question, meaning this: if they really want to invest in Embiid, what they need to allow him to do is take a whole year off. He needs a whole
Mm,
year. If they're planning to invest, because he's still got years left on his contract, right? Or you if you're wanting to compete now and you feel like you still need a reset in order to get another able body, and this is going to be a controversial take too, but it's still, again, I'm just thinking about the moves that Philly has been making, so it's not out of their realm. They need to trade him straight up for Zion because it would give Zion a fresh start in a new place because he's literally the lone star. I mean, McCullough's out there, but I ain't seen McCullough play all year. Uh Embiid, trade him straight up for Zion. So you got a young star, somebody who is impactful, and then you run it back that way because you're tired of waiting on Embiid because he's constantly hurt. Don't know if his knees is gonna get. He got them Greg Odom knees right now. So uh I would say trade him for Zion if you're wanting that impactful player now. And again, it's somebody who could be a star and do some things. So yeah, that's what I would say.
I think that you gotta at a minimum, you have to transition Philly into being Tyrese Maxey as the number one option at a minimum, regardless of where you go. Because I don't think overall that Zion is a better option to be your number one guy than Tyrese Maxey. Personally,
No, no,
I
no,
just
no.
like Tyrese Maxey like that.
I don't
But
think Zion is gonna be your if you trade him.
sure,
I don't
sure.
think. Yeah,
Yeah. Even then, I don't think that even when if you keep Joel Embiid, I think that Joel Embiid is the number two guy, right? Just by availability. He's not it. But this is what I'm saying. There are what makes it tricky is that there are fewer Joel Embiids in the NBA than there are Tyrese Maxey. The only thing is Tyrese Maxey is more available, so I gotta go with the for sure thing, though, right?
but
But here's my thing: if you trade Joel Embiid, right, you might as well go ahead and also trade Paul George and get him out of here too. Do you just
I
say we made the mistake? If you're gonna go ahead and get rid of Joel Embiid, and essentially you're gonna make a play not at a younger body, then at the same time, I think that you got to get Paul George out of there too.
I disagree with two things that you said. One, I disagree that Tyrese Maxey is the guy because here's the thing: as much as the absent T of a star, I still think the Clippers is Kawhi's team. Even though you and I, with our eye test, believe it's James Harden's team now, right?
Right.
James Harden made the All-Star game. James Harden's been the sole person holding it down. They got rid of Russ once they got James Harden. Like Paul George is gone because they got James Harden. So it feels like it would be it's James Harden's team. But according to your logic, James Harden joined Kawhi, so that's Kawhi's team. So
But see, that is true. I think that where that dynamic is a little different is the fact that Kawhi hasn't been there, right? And here's the thing that makes it this is how you can know when I tell you that that whole thing still somewhat holds true, right? James Harden joining him is that I never see Clippers games anymore on national television. Right when Kawhi was there, they were on, and now I never see the Clippers on there. I mean, unless they're playing against somebody like the Lakers or something, but I never see. It used to be that the Clippers were standing alone, that they would be able to be with just those guys and the superstar talent. And now that they don't, I don't see it. Right? It's like the Clippers might as well. It's like to me, watching the Clippers game is like catching a Hornets game. Right? I just don't see them like that on TV. I'm sure they're on TV, but I don't see them. Right? But I think that where I'm saying with the Tyrese Maxey is this. I just think that Tyrese Maxey, having made the All-Star game last season and last year being the catalyst of your playoff run, I think that he probably was borderline, All-Star. He's been very consistent, not just necessary. I think that Tyrese Maxey is a star player, and I just think that he may have potential even to be superstar. But I think that to me, him being a star player without stepping up to being a superstar player and him being your number one option is better than you keep having Joel Embiid as a part-time superstar alongside of your star player, right? I think you just got to blow up the whole dynamic of the team.
No, I understand what you're saying. It's the same thing I just said with the Clippers. Again, the eye test says that's James Harden's team. But for some reason, it's Kawhi's team. But the other thing I pushed back on was them getting rid of Paul George. I really do believe that Paul George deserves at least another year. And after that, then you got to cut ties. Because unless you're talking about getting like a Norman Powell, I don't know who you're gonna get for PG. And then the thing is that the Clippers don't want him back. So that's not going to.
Nobody wants Paul George's contracts. I think that they're stuck with him, right? And this is the thing. I don't disagree. Like, here's what I think. This is what I believe, though. Oddly enough, though, bro, what makes Paul, like I said, everybody's right with Paul George, right? So that's the part that's the most like frustrating part. What I think could happen is I could easily see Paul George going to a mid-level, mid-tier team. Let's say, for example, Orlando, right? And him being their OG who can still get buckets and be a reason why now y'all ain't the 8 seed or 9 seed. Y'all might be 7th, 6th, 5th, or whatever. Almost like how the Pistons picked up some veterans who are starters, and you're mixing them with your young boys, and now y'all are actually looking somewhat like a legitimate team, though, right? But I think though, if you're moving away because you brought Paul George in basically to be the number 3 guy, right? And I just think that if you're now removing Joel Embiid and you're trusting then that Paul either that you're is Paul George really a number 2, or if they let's say in that scenario they get Zion like you suggested, who's the number 2? Is Zion the number 2 or is PG the number 2?
Okay, it PG is still the third option for them if Zion came, but if you wanted to get off of PG and you were like trying to get off of his contract, and if it was approved, then send him to Phoenix for Brad Beal. If Brad Beal would agree to that, then you send it.
Oh,
So
2
then
contracts that nobody want in exchange for each other.
exactly, but the difference is when you get off of Brad Beal's contract, you're also getting off the no trade clause. So they would be able to trade PG if they wanted to. So and then
I didn't think that. I thought that with Brad Beals, as long as his contract as it currently exists is in place, that he would always have the no trade.
no,
So,
no,
so
no.
from that,
I'm
I'm
talking
saying,
about
well,
Phoenix.
yeah. If you're Phoenix, yeah. So
Yes,
if you're
that's what I'm
Phoenix,
talking
I
about.
would do that at the drop of a hat just to get from under the Brad Beal. But here's the thing about it: I think that Paul George's contract, in terms of not even the money, because the money is what it is. I think everybody in the NBA, if you are a top 30 player, you're going to get bread, right? I think that the part that's killing, that makes Paul George's contract so unattractive is the years. That was what the Clippers didn't want to do, right? And so, but I think that it just depends on how many more years Brad Beal has under his contract. If you're saying I'm gonna take 2 years of Brad Beal's contract, even with this no waive or no trade clause in his contract, if you're saying that that's better than 4 more years of Paul George, I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
here's the thing though. Phoenix is so aggressive. Their person is so aggressive that again, they would like sit on PG for probably a year, maybe 2, and if they didn't feel like it was working, they would move him anyway. So I'm just saying.
I think they're learning their lesson from that, though, bro. I think that they are learning their lesson with Brad Beal from being so jumpy on those kind of transactions, bro.
I mean, I get it, but I'm just trying again. I'm not focusing so much on Phoenix right now as much as I'm focusing on fixing the 76ers issue because you want to at least bring somebody that's going to be able to give you what you thought you were going to get out of Paul George. And again, Brad Beal having a fresh start, playing with a younger Tyrese Maxey. He don't have to go over there, have to be the leader. And let's just say, hypothetically, still speaking, they get Zion. Now you at least got some young talent, some people that can still produce, and you got the veterans over there. Then you're moving, I guess, in the right direction for what Philly would be looking for.
I got one for you then. I got
Mhm.
one for you. Would you trade Brad Beal straight up for Joel Embiid?
No, because again, you're talking about you're trading somebody that at least is on the floor for somebody that you don't know if he's ever going to be able to sustain for a whole season. You talk about Kawhi all the time that he's just a true part-timer. I don't know about Embiid, bro. Like I said, unless a team is going to be willing to let him be off for an entire year to get completely healthy or figure out what's going on with his knees or whatever, then I don't know, man. Like I would almost, if I'm Philly and if I'm trying to keep Embiid, I would almost, whatever surgery or whatever that they're about to do to his knee, I would say that the rehabber is a year. Because if you give him a whole year, then
Calendar year, not NBA season.
no, a whole year. Like just like how when KD was out for his Achilles, he was out for a whole year. You know what I'm saying? Chet was out for an NBA season, but I'm just saying, like, you got a whole year to just heal, lose weight, and do whatever. I'm just saying, if we're trying to, the original question was what are we doing with the 76ers, then those are the things you're gonna have to think about. Either trade for Zion and hope for the better on that deal, because I think with a fresh start and a team that actually could compete, then maybe Zion will be a little bit more motivated to play basketball. I just think his time in New Orleans is over, bro. Like,
And
he
listen,
don't want to be there.
I
They
think,
don't want him.
bro, I think it's a dud either way. Like, I think that this is the thing that's crazy. I think that Joel Embiid's best years are way behind him already. I think that there's no way that you ever are going to get what you potentially think Joel Embiid could be, because he's never shown you that, right? He's always been hurt, right? Very often. But at the same time, so has Zion, right? So I think that that's why those two dudes, I think that both of those teams. Now, Zion said, "Hey, I can play more now." The team is basically trying to keep me straight though. So he said it's the team is basically objective to do that. But I think that I don't know, man. He's healthier than Joel Embiid, and so I don't think there's any fault of Joel Embiid. I just think that if you're saying that throughout Joel Embiid's 8-year career, he's been hurt half of that time, though, bro. I just don't know what level of success you're expecting with someone who's been hurt half their career. So it's like at some point you got to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, we tried with trusting that process and it didn't, and it's never too late to pivot. I just think that you just got to pivot with two things and and it's the most obvious. You either have to pivot to say, all right, we're doing a complete rebuild, or we're doing a pivot to where we're saying, let's see what we can find what's equal value that at least keeps us at the same level. But I don't think the championship is in the cards for Joel Embiid, though, man, given his health. And I don't know what other player that you could get that would put you at a championship level either right away. Like, I don't know. I don't think that Zion is a championship level player because I've never seen him play long enough to do that. And I've never seen Brad Beal play anything close to, I've seen him score a lot of points, right? But I've never seen him play meaningful, what I think is meaningful. I mean, he had a series against LeBron, and that was it, though, bro. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Uh,
Philly's in a tough spot, though, man.
yeah. So speaking of the trade, we kind of grazed upon it, but now that we have seen more games, the Lakers have been on a roll, bro. What are we thinking about this Lakers team, man? We had the rescinded trade at the last of the trade deadline, and so now we got Connect back, and he's been playing some meaningful minutes, and then Luka's looking more like Luka. What are you thinking about this Lakers team?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm very surprised. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that they're winning without the chemistry. And I think that to me, this is going to sound crazy. I don't want to just snooze at the fact that it is very much Luka. They were winning before Luka got there. They were already building, right? So, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think a lot of it to me is LeBron James, bro. And when I'm saying this to say this, it's not that Luka ain't hooping. I think that it's LeBron James knowing that not that he's been beating Father Time so far, right? But he also is cognizant of his basketball mortality. And I think that he finally sees a true, I'm going to pass you the baton for me to be the 1B, right? And I think that not just that Luka's willing to do it, he's capable of doing it as well, though, man. So I think that like I said, I like that this to me is extended to LeBron James because people always try to say, oh, LeBron James can't play off ball. And I'm like, no, I don't think that LeBron James has been afforded the opportunity outside of Kyrie to really be off ball full time, though, man. So I think that extend LeBron. I think that one of the things that you'll probably find even now, I think LeBron probably can play another 2 more seasons. And with that 2 more seasons, I think that you'll probably see his assists go up because I think that now he'd be more of the distributor, but I think that he'd still be just as effective as far as putting his footprint on a game, though, bro. I'm very impressed. I didn't see this coming, though. Admittedly.
Well, what I love is that LeBron gets to take them extended minutes out of the game too, because Luka's in
Mhm.
there, and I thought that was dope too. So I like it for LeBron, man. I hate it. Obviously we don't know the shoulda, coulda, wouldas because if AD was still with the Lakers, would he still be hurt? Would he have gotten hurt or whatever the case may be? But it's definitely like you can see that Luka is starting to get less depressed and more excited about the possibilities. Especially once he got the Dallas game out the way. Now it feels like he's freer to like, all right, well, I'm here now, and it's it's a done deal. Like I'm a Laker. So
Yeah, yeah. Listen, to no fault of his own, the general manager for this for the Mavs is looking crazy, bro. Like,
yeah,
there's no way that you would have anticipated that the guy you traded for is hurt, and then now the guy you paired him to play with is also hurt.
but
Max,
even though the public perception is that it was Nico, this is on the owners, bro. The owners have to. The owners, like, if I'm an owner, if I was legitimately trying to trade Luka, why would I not be like, nah, open it up, let's see what all we can get? They
yeah.
were the ones that okay, just doing this deal that they did. So, nah, it's on the owners,
I'm
bro.
not I'm not mad at the deal, and I'm not even mad at the owners. I don't even put it on them, but it's just I don't think that you can necessarily blame because you didn't anticipate that this would have. I don't think that they ever thought if we put together a case of worst case scenarios, even though you should have predicted that AD would and could get hurt. I don't think that you anticipated that at the rate Kyrie was playing that he would also get hurt in the same season, though, bro. So I don't know, man. It's interesting, bro. Very, very, very interesting though to see. I don't know. But
And
I didn't expect the Lakers to turn around.
I heard that they raised their ticket prices too. They
The
raised them like,
Mavs?
yeah, they raised them like 5.6%. No, 8.6%. But
Hmm.
yeah.
Gotta do
Bro,
something if you ain't got Luka to sell them tickets no more, bro.
gotta do something. And you're not allowed to wear Luka stuff to the games either.
You can't say you went and bought the Luka jerseys and they ain't gonna even let you wear the Luka jersey in the building.
Nope.
Stop playing, bro.
Nope.
That's
No
like
joke.
you know what that's like? That would be almost like you buying you had an old Falcons Michael Vick jersey and he went to jail and now they said you can't wear the Michael Vick jersey. Everybody in the stadium had number 7 out here. Now you tell me you can't wear it because
Bro,
get out of my face with that,
they,
bro.
they have the right to say what they want. I mean, it's just like when you go to a WWE event, which we're gonna talk about that later. The WWE event, and you can't bring an AEW sign up in there. Like they have the right to refuse you to come in the event if you're doing stuff that they asking you not to do. And the thing is that Luka is a hot topic right now, and they have to do something to stop the bleeding because there's just too much disruption with him. So
That's
I,
that's that's
I don't
that's corny.
agree, but
Yeah,
it's
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 corny.
business.
Yeah, I get it. It's corny.
The fight this weekend. Did you get a chance to watch the fight?
I did, bro. I did. And listen, I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you. I think I'm done watching boxing altogether, bro.
Uh, what's up with that?
So, the one thing that I didn't like, bro, and I understand that the strategy and the art of boxing is just different from, let's say, UFC. But I watched the entire Tank Davis fight. And I thought that at one point they had some pretty good exchanges, right? But I never felt like one person was trying to knock the other person out. I thought that in the whole entire fight, that it looked like they were only fighting to win the cards or to win the round. And sure, strategically, that makes sense, right? You want to win, a win's a win. But I can totally see why, from a UFC fan perspective, it's more exciting. You get paid more. Like the whole idea is to get somebody up out of there and don't waste no time in doing it, though, bro. And listen, I think that with all things considered, though, man, I saw it and I stayed up and I watched it. Not that impressed with it. And
Okay.
I think that made it, what made it bad is that if Tank Davis is one of the top draws, and he would, and that fight, which I thought was a fairly aggressive, more aggressive fight than I've seen a lot of matches, and I wasn't that entertained by that one. It's just like, I don't care to watch boxing like that no more.
Who do you think won the fight though? Or do you think
Um,
they got it right?
listen, I would think I'm inclined to say they got it right. Here's what I mean by that. I think that it should be that tie goes to the champion, right? Because I don't think that either one did anything more. Because I think that one fighter may have thrown more punches where he looked more aggressive, but Tank threw the most and and landed the most power shots, right? So from what I saw, he wasn't mad at it. Like I don't want to watch a fight for 12 rounds and see a draw. Like somebody should win. I'm not mad that somebody else must have saw the same thing I saw because I'm like, I don't really care one way or the other. Like I wasn't blown away by one fighter's attempt more than the other. And I thought that both were equally as effective with the different aspects of the fight, though, man. So I'm not. I wasn't mad at it though, bro.
Okay. So even with the controversy, you still think they got it right?
I didn't think that was controversial, bro.
He took a knee.
I didn't think that he took a knee.
He did. He took a knee because he even said it. He took a knee because of the fact that his hair got in his eye and that his hair had the oil on it. He legitimately took a knee.
Okay. Let's just say even if that's the case. If that's the case. And I'm not. If he said it and he did it, that's cool. I'm telling you that wasn't even enough. And don't give me you got grease in your eyes, bro. Like get out of my face with that. To me, when he said that, I was just like, man, stop it. Get out
Well,
of my face. Like
they replayed it and showed when it happened. Listen, regardless, that's not even his call. The call is the referee. The referee is the one that said he wasn't counting it as a knockdown. That's the referee's call. But by book, if you take a knee, that's a knockdown. I'm just saying that's the rules for boxing. I'm so
even if I get that. Even if that's a knockdown and you give him that particular round, it wasn't necessary. It was to my eye, right? Watching the fight in its entirety, like it wasn't enough, though, right? It's like
it may not
somebody
be
missing
enough. It may not be enough. But what I'm saying is if you're telling me that one person is credited a knockdown, that counts a little bit more. I'm here's the thing. I don't care either way. You know what I'm saying? Like again, the call was the ref. The ref could have easily been like, "Hey, you took a knee, that counts as a knockdown." That's whatever. But he didn't. So the judges, it's not the judges' fault to be like, "Well, he took a knee and the ref didn't count it." If the ref didn't count it, I'm only counting what I'm supposed to count. So, but at the same time, if we're going off the rules of boxing, you took a knee, that's considered a knockdown, then the knockdown would have given the fight to Roach.
See, to me, that's like this. I look at it like this. To me, that's like if the way I looked at it is that it would be like if you're watching a football game and your kicker missed a field goal in the first quarter and your team ends up losing the game by 3 points. And you say, oh, we would have made that field goal in the first quarter, that first one. And that, like, nah, you got the rest of the game. You got all the other aspects to win the game. So don't tell me that one missed field goal at the beginning of a game caused you to not win the whole game. That's how I looked at it. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not
but
saying that, like you said,
the reason why I don't look at it like that is because the thing is that there are no timeouts in boxing. There aren't. Like you're fighting unless the referee stops the fight for a reason. There are no timeouts, so you don't get to put yourself on a pause because, like you said, a hair got in your face. You the one that got braids. Well, ain't nobody.
get out of my face.
So
I thought it was stupid, man.
it was stupid. But again, if we're going, all I'm talking about is enforcing the rules. I don't care who won the fight, who didn't. I'm not that big of a boxing fan to care. All I'm talking about is the controversy of the fact is if a boxer, regardless of who they are, take a knee, it's considered a knockdown. So if
Well, let me ask you this. So by your scoring though, right? Let's say that it's a draw, but I guess I kind of get it then because if it's a draw and you didn't count the knockdown as a knockdown, and that knockdown would have put one up by 1 point, I guess I kind of get it though, man. But I don't know, bro.
I mean, at this point, you
I
just got to do the rematch. I mean, that's just what it is. You do the rematch.
yeah.
That's just
I
it.
think let's. I think that, but this is my thing about it though, bro. I think that it's just. I mean, I saw some flurries where I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Like I saw the dude was really trying to win, but at the same time, I didn't see the outside of the will. Do you really want to? I just didn't see nothing at all, and maybe because they're smaller fighters. And I'm not going to say that though, man. Like I just didn't see the wow moments, and I just like I don't. It's why I don't watch boxing as much though, bro. And it's just because I just feel like if I'm watching a UFC fight, I think that UFC fighters would hear it from the crowd if you ain't out there trying to knock somebody out though. That's all I'm saying. And I'm just I don't
I
care to
agree.
watch. But the fact that Tank is a draw, right? It's like, nah, I'm cool.
Yeah. Yeah, you gonna have that boy Jake Paul out there thinking he can get out there with Tank.
It makes Jake Paul more relevant these days, though, bro. Like when Jake Paul can get out there, like when you have these kind of matches, it makes Jake Paul's, arguments or whatever, even that much more of a thing, though, bro. He's like probably thinking like I can do that. Hell,
Yeah, absolutely. And
yeah,
he's a draw too. So, but speaking of drawing, speaking of Jake Paul, he's related to Logan Paul,
yeah.
who is in the WWE. So there was another grand event that happened over the weekend, which is Elimination Chamber. The reason why Elimination Chamber is such a what you call it a big event when you're talking about WWE because this is into the road to WrestleMania. So it's basically like determining what the main event of WrestleMania is going to be. So the women's match, I'm not going to really go all into it. Basically, they only had a couple of storylines to interfere with what was going on. Early on, Jade Cargill, who moved from AEW, was now with WWE. Her and Trinity ended up being the tag team champions. Then mysteriously, Jade Cargill gets hurt. So instead of making them drop the titles, they allowed uh, EST to
Why the air quotes?
because normally
Mysteriously.
because again normally in WWE when somebody one of the tag team partners gets hurt, they make the team drop the titles, but they didn't because
Mm.
the thing is that EST, Trinity, and uh and Jade, they were kind of like a three-way group, almost like New Day, right?
Yeah.
So they just allowed them to let EST and Trinity be the tag team champions, which again, they've been a three-way group for a minute, so whatever. Well, within so then in the elimination chamber, they use that as a way for Jade to come back and beat up Trinity so that you could, start their feud and possibly, I guess, have a program with them at WrestleMania. Which again, we know her from AEW. We know she's better as a heel anyway. So this fits her character. So all in all, EST ended up winning the women's elimination chamber, right? So now you fast forward to the men. The men have all the storylines going on. I'm talking.
Time. I gotta say this. I gotta say this. I got two things. Two things I want and say. One is this. Do you think, right, that I thought it would have been better served if she didn't just come straight out and punch Naomi? Like I thought it would have been even that much more of an epic thing if she would have traded on her, right? Like, but to just come straight out and throw them things on, I was like, so this is my thing. My question to you is this: by you coming straight out, what then is her motivation then? What does she show? Like why she would do that? If you're a casual wrestling fan and you wasn't watching, why would Jade Cargill just go straight to attack her after having been on?
Okay, so again, I don't remember the fine details, but there was a moment to where I think that they were supposed to find out who the attacker was, and she kind of, I think it's like the whole, you chose EST instead of just relinquishing the titles. Like, again, I don't know the particular, because the women's storylines haven't been very good.
Mm.
That's, again, this is the only real storyline within the match that meant something. When you see the comparison to the men where everything is interweaved, this one wasn't. Like, this was kind of the thing. So it was, even Triple H kind of said this was the way to get it there, because they've been trying to get it there. And I don't know if her injury was legitimate or if it was just storyline purpose or what. But something within the transaction of, they were sowing the seeds of dissension amongst them anyway, or whatever. So again, I don't know. I can't answer that, because
Hey,
again,
listen, and I would say this though, bro. Jade Cargill is still so fine, though, bro. I think literally, bro. Listen, I think, bro, that there are few people, very few women in particular on Earth that I would say is a 10 out of 10, flawless, flawless, flawless. Jade Cargill is flawless, bro. I sometimes I'll look at her, bro, and I am literally trying to find an imperfection. I think she is absolutely flawless, though, bro. I can there is nothing that I can think of that would ever prevent me from wanting to see her as a fan. But I'm talking about like goodness gracious, though, man. That's one fine woman, bro.
I definitely think she's beautiful. I would say she's a little too muscular for me. Now she has perfected what I think bodybuilding should look like from a women's standpoint. Because there's some
I
women,
agree with you.
like, she's still very feminine with hers, but she got all the muscles and all the definition that you would see in a bodybuilder. But she didn't, like, take that extra step to just, like,
Yeah.
this is no disrespect for real, and real. This ain't no disrespect, but Jordan Grace is,
Jordan Grace is the girl with the shaved head. Oh,
no,
listen,
no.
listen.
She know how to shave heads. She just came from Jordan Grace just came from TNA. She was the
I
TNA
don't know
champion.
who's Jordan Grace. Hold on, who is Jordan
Look
Grace?
on your phone, or look
Hold
it
on,
up.
hold on.
But yeah, Jordan Grace is a little too big for your boy. Uh,
Hold on. Jordan Grace. Oh yeah. She got some. Her arms is way too big though, bro. That girl is yo. Hey, listen, but even outside of her, there is this other little girl out there who got a strong face though, bro. She got the little shaved side of the head. That's what I'm talking about. And she's with the All American folks.
I
You
know
know
who
what
you're
I'm
talking
talking
about.
about?
Yeah.
Listen, she little and she looked like she got. I mean, her face looks chiseled though, boy.
Now, what did you think of
Yeah,
Beth
this.
Phoenix?
So you know what's crazy to me is that for some reason it worked for Beth Phoenix. Like
Yeah,
it's weird. She had the guns, but she didn't come across like China, the original China either, though.
yeah. But anyway,
Yeah,
so
so I don't know.
that's kind of what happened with the women. Again, and the rest, don't get me wrong, the rest of Elimination Chamber I heard was great too. Because I know the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens match was pretty hard. Because I mean, you're talking about two best friends that joined the business together. It would be like, an Edge and Christian fight, right? You going the punches are gonna be a little bit stiffer, because it's like, nah, bro, let's go for it, right? And
Yeah.
then of course the big story with that anyway was Randy Orton coming back, which he looked extra chiseled. That boy
Yeah.
was out there looking like he just came fresh out of getting chiseled up.
Love when Randy Orton comes back. He always looks like he's in incredible shape. But every time he comes back, though, man, and like I said, I think I told you this before. I think that Randy Orton is still the standard to me. Like I think that when I tell you all the time, like certain things just don't look and feel. Like when you tell me like Adam Cole, the little dudes, right, when they was over in NXT, can come up to the main roster and you tell me that they go you want my training eye, even in my casual eye, to think this little dude is gonna beat Randy Orton like and just be like,
Okay,
Randy Orton is the standard to me though, bro.
so do you think that a Finn Balor could be a Randy Orton?
I don't know. That was going to be where I was going to go next because Finn Balor is he's still. I don't think Finn Balor, he doesn't look like he's 205 to me. He looks like he's a pretty small guy still. And so if you just tell
He pretty
me,
cut up though.
he is cut up. He is pretty cut up though. I don't know, man. Randy Orton. Yeah, I think Randy Orton. When I say Randy Orton is the standard, I mean Randy Orton to me is at a baseline what I think a champion, the size of a champion, and the look should look like the build, right? It's
So you
like he's like how I imagine Rick Rude. Like Rick Rude was like the standard size of when you were back in the 80s of what at a minimum he should be this build, though, right?
you
And yeah, it
definitely a
looks more
Vince guy,
realistic.
bro. You a Vince guy. Vince, because Vince, you had to have a look.
Yeah, you gotta have a build. That's why I don't think that. That's why I don't think that Kevin Owens will have as long of runs. That's why I don't think that Daniel Bryan would have as long of runs, right? Because they're not. Now, Seth Rollins has the build, right? So he will have the runs. So, and it's just, to my eye, I think that I've been watching wrestling for so long that my eye tells me that that's what a champion is supposed to be built
Okay, last one, and then we gotta get to the elimination men. AJ Styles.
AJ Styles is the size. He's a shorter, but he's pretty cut up now though, bro. Yeah, he's looking real yoked though.
Yeah.
But like I said, I would like, but I'm not saying that you can't be I'm not saying you can't be bigger. Like Vince loved the bigger guys. He loved the Brock Lesnar's, right? But I think that at some point when you're saying no, you're having the belt, and the belt is traditionally a heavyweight title, then you gotta look like you can handle heavyweights. And I just don't think that it's a realistic thing to my eye. If it wasn't wrestling, right? It doesn't look realistic for me to think that Finn Balor can beat Braun Strowman, right? But Randy Orton can. That's what it looks like to me.
Yo, somebody who, you know how like when you think wrestlers, you think of long hair because they flip their hair, or they do the thing. Somebody who I think should have never grown their hair, bro, is that boy Karrion Kross, bro. I hate him with long hair, bro.
I just forgot. Listen, I forgot what Karrion Kross looked like.
Well, the only reason why I say that because he was on Raw talking to AJ Styles about, hey, you need to.
Oh my gosh! Hold on. He had the straight hair.
Yeah, and he came up the next to AJ Styles, and he was like, "Yo, you need to get on Logan Paul next week." And he was like,
He only looks corny because his hair looks flat iron, bro. Like I don't like if it was curly, I might think he looks kind of hard. Like if he was almost like the Scottish psychopath dude, like some kind of crinkle in it. The fact I hate AJ Styles' hair how it looks flat iron though, bro. Like he
AJ
looks like a
Styles
big AJ
works
Styles.
though, because I remember AJ Styles used to have the short hair, but now that he's older, his hair fits right. But Karrion Kross, it almost like it makes him look weaker as with the long hair, because when he didn't have the hair, he looked kind of scary. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let's get to the men, bro. So this is all the storylines you got going on, right? Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre hated when CM Punk came back. Matter of fact, they weren't even told that he was coming back. He came back for Royal Rumble last year, right? Or not Royal, he was in the Royal Rumble. That's where he got hurt. But whatever the pay-per-view was before, I think Hell in a Cell or something, right? He comes back at the end of the show. Nobody knew. It was only a select people that knew. But them two genuinely hate CM Punk, right? Seth Rollins hates CM Punk because of the fact that when he left, mind you, CM Punk kind of brought him in, was kind of his mentor. So then when he left and he was just talking crazy about WWE, he stopped talking to WWE people altogether. Like, if you're a part of that company and we supposed to be boys, then nah, I can't rock with you, right? That was kind of the stance. And so CM Punk was like, Seth was like, nah, bro, like, we was cool though. Like, how you gonna just tell me to just up and just leave my livelihood and not do me, and you couldn't still be cool with me? Like, you wouldn't even take phone calls or answer text messages or whatever. So that's where his beef. And so they've been integrating that stuff into the new storyline. So you got that going on. So Seth is like, listen, I'm trying to go to WrestleMania and headline. But what I do know, even if I don't go, you ain't going. Like, I'm just telling you that straight up. Like, I don't, if for some reason I get eliminated, just know that you ain't going. Right? Same thing with Drew. Drew was like, listen, I am not letting CM Punk go. I'm going, but I ain't letting CM Punk go. So you got that. So then you got Damian Priest in there. Damian Priest was the one who eliminated Drew McIntyre. So that was a rivalry. Okay. Then Logan Paul is just kind of a pest to everybody. You know what I'm saying? He just thinks he's the next thing. They all had beef with John Cena because everybody else had to qualify for the Elimination Chamber, but John Cena got put into the match, which we kind of know why now. And then you have who else was in it? I think that was it, right? Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, John Cena, and Damian Priest. I think I'm missing something. Logan Paul. Okay, so there goes the 6. Okay.
6.
Okay. So how it went. Drew McIntyre was so obsessed with CM Punk that he let his emotions get the best of him, and Drew Mac and your boy Damian Priest eliminated him again. So he was the first one to go, right? Logan Paul is out. So it gets down. Let's just get down to the final 3. The final 3 is Seth Rollins, John Cena, and CM Punk. And so John Cena and CM Punk team up to start beating up on Seth Rollins. So anyway, he gets eliminated, and then it's just John Cena and CM Punk. They go to shake hands, and that boy CM Punk just does his go to sleep on him right away, right? Some kind of way he gets pushed over into the ropes, and that boy Seth Rollins curb stomps him on the outside of the ring, knocks him out. John Cena, the normal John Cena, would have been like, nah, I'm not gonna win like that. But he was kind of like, bruh, I'm getting old.
A win's a win.
Win's a win. And I put my hand to shake, and you gonna sniff me on the handshake because they hugged earlier before they fought. But this time I shook your hand, and you go to sleep me right then and there. So he was like, nah. He got him in that STFU, bro, and was choking him out, and he was telling him, I'm sorry, but he choked that boy CM Punk out and wins, right? So, Cody Rhodes comes out to come congratulate John, and they out there shaking and dabbing. He's like, yo, bro, hey, it's gonna be me and you. It wasn't even long enough to celebrate nothing. Here come the Rock. Final Boss comes out there with Travis Scott, which is another thing. And so he comes out there and basically like, look, Cody, what you gonna do, bro? I told you, this is it. Give me your soul. It's either you give me your soul, I can't say what's gonna happen if you don't. So of course, Cody was like, nah, we ain't doing that. So Rock just kind of looked at him. So John Cena's like, oh, this boy, because they done muted all the cuss words through the whole show, even the crowd. They've been muting all of that stuff, but they let Cody get one off, the big one. They let him get it off.
Yeah.
And so John Cena's hype. He's like, oh yeah. So he's hugging Cody, and they pan to the Rock, and the Rock looks at Cena, and Cena's face just drops, bro. Like just stone cold, just. And that boy Rock said, and that boy kicked him in his balls, and they went to work. They got the Rolex, punching him all in his head. That boy Cena was giving him all. He was giving all. And they had him, and so then the Rock pull the belt off, and start whooping him, and then of course here come Potato Man, Travis Scott, and gives him the.
Why you call him Potato Man?
Because in wrestling, if somebody hits you for real, it's called a potato.
Oh my God!
So you get the potato, and then you get the receipt, right? So, come to find, what they're saying is that legitimately Cody is hurt to where he's got some ringing in his ear, or he got a busted eardrum, and he got a black eye because of how Travis Scott hit him. And there was another part that I don't know if you caught, but Travis Scott was like picking him up off the ground to where Cody's back was bowing, and you see Cena like push him back down so that the Rock could whoop his back. It was kind of like, bruh, you can't stretch him out like that. Like he was getting too much in character, bro. The boy was hyped up. He was hyped, and so he just wanted to be involved. This boy was out there saging all over the place. Like it was just so random stuff that Travis Scott was doing. He didn't look cool. Like he was just extra. Like he
He looked like a black-hearted boy out there.
he didn't know what to do, man. He just wanted to be involved. He wanted to do something.
He wanted his moment, bro. He wanted a moment, though, man.
Yeah, but he getting it because they letting him have it online. But the boy John Cena turns heel. And the reason why that's a relevant thing for us, because we were around when Hulk Hogan turned heel at Bash at the Beach back in 96. You know what I'm saying? We remember when they threw that boy Rey Mysterio into that trailer. And back in there, you know, the storyline was the Kevin Nash and Scott Hall left the WWE, which in real life their contracts expired and they didn't have a non-compete clause. They could just go right on over. So it looked like that WWE was invading WCW and they had a third member, and lo and behold, it was Hulk Hogan, which we get to Hollywood Hulk Hogan. So let me ask you this, bro. Is the heel turn of John Cena bigger than Hogan's heel turn? Because you got to understand the difference is, right, when Hogan turned heel, people was kind of booing him anyway. Whereas John Cena, he's always been booed, but it's not like you know, it's almost like the "you suck" for Kurt Angle, right? It's built in to "let's go Cena, Cena sucks." But Cena only has 10 months left as a wrestler, period. And so
and you forget the John Cena sucks. John Cena, that's my favorite one, by the way. I think that's hilarious, though, man.
Yeah. So what you think? What was it? Which one was bigger?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It's a matter of how you look at it. I think that the reason why it's not as big as Hulk, right, is because I think that Hulk defined, to me, on a transcending scale of what a baby face was supposed to look like. It was the say your prayers guy, the eat to take your vitamins guy. And I think that he was so over as a baby face. And John Cena technically came in under the Thugonomics. He wasn't a heel or baby face. But I think that what I think made Hulk Hogan's more of a big deal is your point, though, right? Hulk Hogan still continued to be active wrestling after that, right? So John Cena doing it's almost like a last set sail. You're on your way out of the business thing anyway, and who knows if he ever comes back. But I think that what made Hulk Hogan's a bigger deal is that you took Hulk Hogan's turn and you had to continue living with it for some years afterwards, right? And I think that John Cena seemed like if you know, like you are, it's so much on the behind the scenes that it feels kind of like a last hurrah kind of thing, though, man. But it's up there, though, bro. Now, somebody said,
you got to look at, though, right, with John Cena's, the reason why he never turned heel when he was active was because he has the most Make-A-Wish completions ever. Not just in wrestling, ever, right?
It's a big responsibility, man.
Yeah, so it's like I can't turn heel because this doesn't line up with what I do off screen, right?
Yeah.
Whereas now John Cena is a part-timer. He does make movies. He is Peacemaker. Like he's doing these things. And let's be honest, being a heel ain't necessarily a bad thing anyway, because people root for the bad guy. The Rock is proof that he's the final boss, and he can come out there and sing with the crowd, but then tell them they got syphilis all in the same promo, right? It's like, but it's just that John Cena, though, it's just, I mean, what are your thoughts about it? Like, forget about what.
Like so this is my thing. I think that it would be different if John Cena did this mid-career, right? If he wasn't on his way out and at the peak of his, because that's where I think where Hulk Hogan may not have been at the peak of his career, but I think that Hulk Hogan still has some matches in him. He still has some screen time in him, right? So I think that if John Cena would have done this 10 years ago, I think that it would have been more shocking, right? But it is shocking because I think that as far as I'm aware, then that would basically mean I can't remember a guy, a wrestler who's been a baby face his entire career. John Cena could have been that though, man. And
Yeah.
so I don't know.
I think that's what makes it interesting is because they had merch set up for his like last hoorah, like the towels of like you saw even the merch that they had for Canada, right? Like the last ride, the last time, and hustle, loyalty, respect, one last time. Like all of these, they have this stuff built in, so they set it up well. But when the grand scheme, when you think about it, it makes sense because with The Rock being who he is, he can designate what he wants. So yeah, John Cena is going to be in the match, and he don't have to qualify. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense storyline wise now. I don't know that they always had that set up, but and I'm mad I got spoiled on it. I would have loved to have just watched it for myself and saw it and been like, oh, like I wonder what my reaction would have been if I didn't know that that's what was coming.
See, and that's where for me and you, that's why I think my reaction was more genuine because I don't want to know all of the background stuff like
I
you
didn't
do.
want to know either. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like what I'm saying is I just
And you
didn't
caught
have
it late,
no.
and that's
I
why.
didn't want to watch Elimination Chamber when it was live because I had other things going on. So I was going to watch it the next day. Unfortunately, of course, that's the biggest news. And so it was hard to avoid the news when I'm just doing regular stuff. It was leaked that John Cena turned heel. So what I'm saying is I wish I would have got the chance to just watch and see it for myself because I want to know what my reaction would have been, which is why
It's probably the biggest news in wrestling in probably the last 25 years, I think. The biggest headliner to me. I can't remember I can't remember somebody coming back all of a sudden that you didn't know. Um we've seen some pretty significant like organic movements, Daniel Bryan, Kofi Mania. We've seen some big waves, but I don't think that in the last 25 years that there has been a bigger headline to me because I think that this transcends wrestling, right? I think that it's again when it's shocking to a casual fan, I think that that's when you know.
when you talking about a storyline beat on ESPN Sports Center, like or First Take, like it's a real thing, then you know it's huge news. The only other thing that I think was as big as this was the stuff that happened last year with Cody, The Rock. And what I'm saying as far as like the interest level in WrestleMania, like people, like you said,
The
casual.
Rock was for
Yeah, because now casual like, yo, The Rock, the Moana guy is coming to like, so WWE is doing a phenomenal job of keeping themselves like just burning hot, like just like man, everybody's talking about this.
yeah, I agree. I think that the big thing though, but in terms of the headline, bro, like golly, man, like it's I can't think of another time though, bro. Like this one that it definitely was shocking. The only thing that could have made this even bigger is if something like this happened at WrestleMania,
Yeah.
right? That would be the only thing that I think could have made this huge or be a bigger thing, though, man. So I don't know, but it's dope.
Yep. Anyway, bro, what you got up for the week?
This week I'm hoping to get back in the lab. I thought last week I'd be in there more, but I didn't get a chance to. I did. Yeah, I take that back. I was in the lab. I'm just hoping to finish things though, man. I'm lucky where I'm hearing a lot of dope stuff. And so after doing several upgrades and new additions to plugin sounds, yada yada yada, I'm hearing and using those things. And I think one of the things I'm trying to do more than any other time is really maximize everything that I have. Like I think I kind of got so spoiled and so much of a routine that I didn't explore. And so I think that with me just kind of exploring, I'm tapping into some new sounds and creatively is looking pretty good. I just got to finish some certain little things that I got going on. Yeah. What about you, though, man?
Same. My week is kind of consistent with last week and the weeks before. Still, we still got Sarah in the hospital, so still just navigating stuff. So nothing really changed. Like I said, I was grateful to be able to have a show this past weekend to break up some of that, to be able to do some artistry stuff. But that's about it. What you doing for Mardi Gras?
Oh man, we here, so I ain't doing nothing for Mardi Gras. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, look.
Yeah, they actually do that. Do they actually? So I know that they have like some Mardi Gras bar crawls downtown, but I didn't think that people outside of New Orleans do anything like that for Mardi Gras.
I mean, they go, they celebrate, and like you said, specials and stuff for different things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought, if y'all, because I mean, we gonna go eat some Mexican food tonight, and
eat Mexican food on Mardi Gras. You ain't gonna even do the Cajun, huh?
Nah, I ain't gonna do that. We gonna do that, and that's about it. Like,
oh man, yeah.
All right, bro. Well, look, from ATL to OKC, we are the Slash Brothers, and we'll see y'all next time.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
Can you dig it, sucker? Yep.